David, Psalm 34 of David when he pretended to be insane before Abimelech, who drove him away and left. I will extol the Lord at all times. His praise will always be on my lips. I will glory in the Lord. Let the afflicted hear and rejoice. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look at him are radiant. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. This poor man called, and the Lord heard him. He saved him out of all of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. Fear the Lord, you his holy people, for those who fear him lack nothing. Those who fear him lack nothing. The lions may grow weak and hungry. Those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. Come, my children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Whoever loves life and desires to see many good days, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from telling lies. Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous. His ears are attentive to their cry. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to blot out their name from the earth. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them from all of their the righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all of their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. He protects all his bones. Not one of them will be broken. The evil will slay the wicked. The foes of the righteous will be condemned. The Lord rescues his servants. No one who takes refuge in him will be condemned. A lot of reading. The last couple of paragraphs reminded me that that's a messianic psalm in part. That was all about, I think the last 5 or 6 paragraphs are all about Jesus, which I didn't know that yesterday.
And our very own brother John Mink is going to share about his trip to the Philippines. So, all you people in the back, find your seat very soon. I'm just going to say a little quick prayer here, and then we'll get John started. Lord, I thank you for John. I thank you for his heart to be open to what you want to do in his life and with his time and with his heart and with all that he is, Lord. He has asked you to be his guide. And we appreciate that, Lord. We get to go along with them in a way, Lord. Thank you. I pray you speak through him to us. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Jenny, you've got a big show for us here. I'll explain all this after I see it all. This is all our first thing that we did, which was the 5th anniversary of his church. I had a interpreter, really great interpreter. And as the missionary, just a minute, I'll show you what we did. See, I've got this thing. You can see it on there. I know. So they're all greeting me, and then, as the missionary, I have to greet all the kids, and the moms want to have their kids greeted by the missionary, and you gotta give them your hand, and they touch your hand to their forehead like this as a sign of respect, and then you give them a little piece of candy. So if it looks manipulative and something, it is. But if you're a missionary, there's so many different, so anyway, you gotta do it. They want their child to be blessed. Half the children want to be blessed.
Ay, mga batid nyo! Para ba? Hindi na, hindi. Mabilis kayo. Meron pa po dito. Yung ano po, may pagkain pa po tayo dito. Ay, ang mga papastor, wag kayong aalis ha. Ay, nakain tayo sa ano. Ito lang. Oo, ito lahat. Pakisuyo, bro. Ay, pastor, pakisuyo nga ako. Okay, yun lahat. Brother Ramon.
Okay, how much longer does it go
Just
here?
about a minute.
Okay.
Wag na, yung mga bata.
You're passing out things.
Yung mga may nanay ha.
Bigay ng appreciation is given to Missionary, Brother John Eric Mink. In a grateful
Palakpakan naman natin. Ay, hindi na sila makapalakpak.
with ideas you have graciously shared with us, our distinguished honorable speaker of our Thanksgiving Day of 56, with him God's following river of God. This Saturday of February, in the year of the Lord 2026, at Barangay Aruroy, Hubad, in the Philippines. Signed, Reverend Pastor German Asutya, and Brother Simple Adiba, Malaki Kapri. Okay, Reverend, is the Missionary Pastor Matthew J. Aragon, also Senior Pastor German Asutya. Happy Christmas to you, sir.
Punta ka dito eh. Congratulate mo gusto. Congratulate mo. Dahil mga basura, pastor! Nakakuha na ba lahat ng nanay? Hindi nga. Huwag mo na bilisin, hindi ako magbibigay sa kanya. Oh, may bibigay ako sa inyo.
Wow. Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So my comments are going to go like, I'm going to tell you what the purpose of the trip was, and then I'm going to tell you about the money that I took with me that we raised before. Oh, that was so sweet. And then what the Lord showed me while I was there. And do not let me forget that one. That's going to be the little capper thing, is going to be about those little shoe boxes we make right here at this church. So, and if you look at the date on that crazy thing, February 23rd, it was like Tuesday, that they handed out the boxes. On February 23rd, it happened to be the last thing I did with the church, was to help them hand out those shoe boxes, that, not the exact ones that we made, but that thing that we've been doing for 2 years. I got to see the other crazy end of it, where all those little kids are getting those little boxes.
Yay.
And I just want to say, the first thing I want to say is, it might seem like it's not very real, because those are obviously kids from Africa. And so he's made that poster however he makes his poster out of whatever he can dig up wherever he wants. But all I want to say is, it's real. The little shoe boxes. The whole thing is real, and there's kids all over the world. They're getting those little boxes and hearing the gospel, and their moms are seeing their kids get a little bit of honor in the poorest place. And then the parents are getting the gospel too. And so, anyway, the shoe boxes are, I gotta not do that first, or else I won't get the rest of it. But, and you can see this one too. This actually is his father. This is Butch Aragon.
Okay.
And so that's who that is. I have no idea who this guy is. Where did we get him? Look at that. If you think you're ever going to see me looking like that. He kept saying, you know, you look like Keanu Reeves. And I said, well, after you made me, you did whatever. So, anyway, so the purpose of my trip to the Philippines was to bless Emmanuel Aragon, not that guy, but the guy, the likeness, to bless him for his 5th anniversary of his church, to help him with that. That was like Saturday. I managed to get to Sorsogon by about Friday, and I was completely wiped out. And then Saturday, the first real official thing was his 5th anniversary. So that was my, real purpose for going over there, is just to help him, just to bless him, just to jump into his ministry. And then he started adding, he's my coordinator, so he made up these cards for me, because you have to have cards to be a missionary. So he's my, and this, what a smart thing, because I don't do Facebook, and I'm not in it at all. And so he's my coordinator. So he does all that. He's the security on all that social media junk. So anyway, he's my coordinator. And what a great way to do that. Is because, so I could give this away and not be giving away the keys to my little fiefdom that I have going over here. So anyway, that was really smart. And so I had these cards that I gave to people as we would travel around. And I'm sure a lot of people ended up with my email, and there's going to be some weird stuff that pops into there, who knows where. So to bless him in just his ministry and to jump in with him, I thought we'd be jumping into a car. He doesn't have a car. It was jumping into those little tricycles or jumping into buses and traveling these 12-hour crazy bus rides. That thing, I don't know what it's on. You can't see ahead from anywhere you're sitting on the bus because it's all covered over, but there's no road. They're just going through the jungle. I mean, you're just barely hanging on. And, for 12 hours, 14 hours. And then you get to the end of that, and they go, Okay, and Emmanuel told me where to show up to connect with him in Sorsogon, so I'm about 18 hours east of Manila, brains completely garbled, and just white-knuckled from hanging on to that crazy bus. And he texts me this thing, be sure they bring you to this bus station. So I said, okay, and it's called Pitex, P-I-T-E-X is the name of the station. So I go to the bus driver and said, yeah, this is where I need to go. This is where I need to end up. And he looks at it and he goes, oh, Pitex. And I said, well, it's spelled Pitex. He goes, yeah, it's Pitex. And I go, okay. And off we go, we keep roaring. And then we get to the end, we get to Sorsogon, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no bus station here. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, we're stopping, but there's no bus station. Interesting. And then the bus driver's going, come on. And I go up to the front, and he goes, get your stuff, come on, this is where you get off. There's no bus station. And he says, just get off, just walk back to the back of the bus. So I take my stuff, go walking back to the bus, into the bus, and there's a little tricycle there. And this guy goes, get in. And I go, what is this? And he goes, just get in. So I get in, and he takes me over to the right bus stop where I was supposed to be in the first place. That particular bus doesn't go to that particular huge, crazy bus station. So anyway, that was my start to the whole thing. But I'm still just trying to give my purpose for going over there. Number 2 purpose was to deliver those funds that we collected before I left, and just jump in with Emmanuel and speak whenever he wants me to. He points to me, tells me how long, and just be helping and encouraging him along the way. Just say, oh yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. Even though it sounds completely crazy, and I only half understand what he's even talking about anyway. So I told you about the bus ride. Then I'm sitting at that bus stop. I get out of the little 3-wheeler thing and go over to this chair and sit down at this chair. And I'm sitting down at the chair for a little while in this madhouse, people coming and going. It's about 80 degrees and I'm sweating. It's really humidity, so I'm sweating, I'm wet, I'm tired. I've just got out of a crazy bus, and I hear this behind me. Pastor, Brother John, from Portland, Oregon. And all of a sudden this guy just enfolds me, and he just kind of dove over from the back and grabs me like this. And, and you're there, and I'm thinking, am I going to find this guy? What do I do, Lord? Is this, are you seeing this? Are you guiding this or whatever? All of a sudden, he just jumps on me and goes, it's so good to see you, and just welcomed me in. So that's, so I'm going to get into this, but, and then I'm going to tell you what happened with the money. Then I'm going to tell you what the Lord showed me. Did I already do all this?
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about that, and you're not going to let me forget that. Okay. So the first day was this thing with the 5th anniversary. So that's why Thanksgiving Day was him just being thankful that his church has lasted 5 years. And it's actually his folks' church that he continued, and the folks passed away. His dad passed away of COVID so recently. And so he kind of picked up their ministry and is continuing it. He's never been married, and he's just a sweet, amazing guy. How do I, just John Mink from over here in Portland, Oregon, how do I run across this guy? I don't know how I did, but he's like an Energizer bunny for the Lord. He's just constantly going. he's walking somewhere. He's coming through my place to greet me and tell me to be ready in about 10 minutes or something. He says, and he's got a loaf of bread in this hand, a loaf of bread in this hand, and then the bottom of the bread bag is a little jar of cheese, and the bottom of this little lunch bag is a little bar of cheese. He says, I'm going to be right back. I got to go talk to my aunties. And he's got these aunties all over the place that he loves and cares for, these older women in the community. And so he takes them their loaf of bread and their little jar of cheese whiz. And so he's just constantly working with groups of church pastors of little tiny poor churches. Just the sweetest, most amazing guy, and he runs around like me if I plan something. I gotta run around, and I just end up doing a lot of it myself just because I wait too long or whatever. So that tells you more about our good friend, and just the way the Lord has led me to that. And then the Lord leads me over there as a missionary. And I said, Lord, I said, yes. If you say I can do it, then I'll do it. And if you pull it together and it happens, then I'll do it. And then it just came together a little bit. We raised funds here. And all these things just were one more, okay, I'll go, okay, I'll go. And then I thought, I got to prepare something. I got to have some 5-step program that I can be pushing for this mission thing. And the Lord said, no, don't prepare anything. You just go and tell them what I want to tell you. And I'm only going to give you one thing at each place. And it's only going to be one simple message at each thing. And you're going to do it. And it's like, okay. And I guess I'm the guy that says yes to these things so I'm the one that the Lord sends. So my message to them a couple times was, hey, I'm not the best and brightest from the United States. I'm the guy that's sitting in the back of the church but goes, okay, sounds like something I can do. So if you think I can do it, if you think I can pull it off, I'll try for you. So, and so that's something that the Lord can use, I guess, because wow, when you guys hear this stuff, if I'm able to deliver any of it. Okay, I wanted to tell you about the money thing. That was so fun. Oh my goodness, we raised that fund, so I took over a little pack of like 1,500 and something I took with me, and then threw some of mine with it, and so I had about 2,000, and then so I changed that into that money, which is like 50,000 or 70,000 pesos. So I had a stack of $1,000 peso notes, and that's about 20 bucks. And so I had this stack of those things, and I gave a bunch to Emmanuel to start, but then I started just blessing. This friend was a storm relief for Mindanao, which he just wanted to fill a truck with stuff and take it down to where the typhoon had hit in Mindanao. And I said, perfect, cool, and jumped in and gave him 2,000 pesos. Then we stayed at this missionary housing in Manila for a couple days, and this woman's trying to get it set up for missionary housing, and it's not yet. And so she's trying to have a nonprofit, but she hasn't developed it yet or anything. But that's just perfect for me because I don't need a receipt or anything like that. So I gave her 2,000 for that missionary housing thing, which just totally blessed her. And it was like the first, and that was the first 2,000 that other guy had got too, because he hasn't gotten it off the ground yet. So I said, that's exactly what I want to do, is jump into it and, give you this to maybe loosen up some more for you. So that Americar with the missionary housing, $2,000 for Pastor June Home Ministry. Bunch more for Maricar on the housing for missionaries. And Maricar's sister in this little house church that was so sweet that we had this prayer meeting. We stayed there a couple of days and then we were leaving the next day. And we knew that she had some disabled young people in her house and a disabled old person in her house with her. And so we said, and it was an abandoned church, the whole place. So we said, tomorrow morning before we go, we got to leave at 7. So at 6:30, we're going to come to your house and come in and have a little Bible study and just a little prayer meeting around your table and just bless your, and they want to use the house as a church again or whatever. And so we said, we want to just bless that. And so we were able to do that. So we go in there and here's this kid with no hands, no feet. So you've got the people with disabilities, like one was quadriplegic, and then this little small person that's got no arms and no legs, and he's looking in his Bible.
Oh my gosh.
And just such a sweet spirit on him. He's just sitting there holding this one with this one with that, and turning the pages with his face or whatever. And just, he can find his way around his Bible just by doing that. Got a great little heart. So anyway, that's Maricar's sister, and that's their little house church. And you've got kind of iconography. You've got a little raised platform here. You've got a cross on the wall, and then their living stuff around there. So we just prayed for all of them, and we told the person with the no legs and stuff, if the Lord, to be sure that if the Lord wants to use him exactly like he is, the Lord needs him exactly like he is too. So anyway, we prayed for things, but who knows? Because the Lord is using all kinds of people for motivational speaking and that kind of thing. I took a bunch of pastors to dinner, this great bunch, 2,500 pesos for that. And of course, Shema probably ended up giving them about 100,000 pesos, and that included the cost of, a lot of the costs of the trip, of him and me palling around together and taking all those buses. And then for a while we had a videographer along with us named Lito, really sweet guy with a real cleft palate, so I could not understand a single word. He didn't have very much English, that cleft palate. Sweet brother. And he was our videographer at some point, but you'll probably see those videos, I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I did with all that money. And it was such a blast, because I would be sitting there listening to the thing and listening to the interpretation, and then I would kind of poke Emmanuel and ask him about, how much do we give? How much would it be fair to give? Is it too much? And I need him to vet everything that's coming by, so he kind of understands. So anyway, it was so good to have him all the way through to guide me in these things, because I don't pay that close of attention to things. Okay, the other thing I wanted to tell you about is these things and how important these things are. There was a group of pastors that gave one of these. The city gave me this one. You're welcome to come and visit again, and your efforts and dedication are greatly appreciated. And what it is it's legitimacy because there's all kinds of weird things going on. There's drugs in the jungles, and there's Islam in the jungles, and they kill the people, they kill the Christians, and all that stuff is going on out there. Plus there's a rebellion against the government, and they're trying to manipulate the Christians to, not be on the government side. So they'd rather kill the Christians than have them be on the government side. So there's all kinds of things, and they got to give you these certificates to give you legitimacy as a missionary. There's people claiming to be missionaries. There was one guy, just before I got there, that went through the airport, 60-something American, goes through the airport, says, yes, I'm here as a Christian missionary. And they said, okay, for who? And he said, well, for Jesus. And they said, he didn't understand that there's more structure than that. So he started to raise red flags. So he said, I'm just bringing a bunch of Bibles, and I'm just coming as a Christian missionary. And so they looked in the Bibles. All the pages were cut out of Bibles, and they're all full of cocaine. Millions of dollars worth of cocaine coming in the week before with a fake missionary. So anyway, that's why they need to make these things and have these signs and have these weird pictures on the signs. Okay, let me see. Before I get any further, I want to thank people before I forget to thank people. I want to thank Bonnie so much. Bonnie,
It wasn't just me, it's the church.
I want to thank this whole church for saving my bacon. I had completely forgotten to do anything for my wife, to just go simply to a little flower store and say, take a bundle of flowers to Trish on Valentine's Day. And I left right at the beginning of February, and here it is the end of February. And so my last day here, that last Sunday I was here before I left, Bonnie said, is there anything the church can do for you? And I just thought, no, there's nothing. I thought, and I had just thought about my wife for 2 seconds, like the day before that. Thought about my wife for 2 seconds and thought, hey, I'm gone on Valentine's Day. But, I didn't do anything about it or remember it or anything. But then when Bonnie brought it up, I said, oh, could you take a little thing of plants to Trish for Valentine's Day? Oh, yeah, that was sweet. And somehow you snuck it onto the property. How'd you?
She wasn't there.
Okay, cool. Whoever got it onto the property, because Trish, if she sees you there, she'll go, hey, what are you doing here? Whatever. It's pretty brutal. So anyway, such a sweet thing. I've seen it. It's perfect for Trish. She likes simple. She doesn't like fake flowers or invasive plants or anything like that. She's got to be really careful if it's going in her yard. So it was just the perfect thing. Bonnie, thank you. Arlene, you got me that Bible. Look how many miles that Bible has. It's kind of ragtagged around the edge, but it fits in the pocket. Oh, that thing came in handy. So thank you for the Bible. Thank you everybody so much for your support in this thing. Oh, if I was trying to do this in some big church, just as a face in the crowd over there, it was so wonderful to take you all with me and to think about all of you there, for them to have a picture of all of you like that the one that was on the video. So sweet. Thank you. Now, I got one more thing, or maybe two more. Oh, I got two more. Don't let me forget that. Okay. So what the Lord showed me, one thing the Lord showed me, so we were going to these meetings. Every morning we would go to a morning prayer meeting, devotions, and then at about noon we'd go to a Bible study or church or something, some event. And so we were going to these little people's houses, and then they'd have coffee and some little rolls and some just totally weird breakfast food like fish and rice with everything, and noodles and macaroni and cheese for breakfast and stuff. And I was just like, oh, but just sharing their house and their heart, and there'd be like 6 or 8 of us around the table, such sweet prayer and worship. And Emmanuel was the guy he was that guy that always brings the little sound system, always plops down the little sound systems, turns on the thing, starts worship, sings a song for everyone, just in beautiful voice, just a booming voice, exuberance. And I happened to be riding around with this guy, and everywhere he went, he lit up the whole room. So it was such a blessing. But what the Lord showed me in all this is that what he really needs to build his church, the church that he wants to build, what he really needs is bricks. We all think he needs big, bright, shiny church. Like he wants us to build a church for him. And I think it's more like what he needs is building materials. And then he's like he's sitting there, if you've ever seen a brick guy works, he's sitting there, he's got his mortar, he's got his trowels, he's got his string line around here, and then he starts plastering, and it looks really filthy. He slops down some of his mortar and sticks a brick on there and slops down some more mortar, and then he keeps on going and scraping. And as he's going, he's scraping it all back in his bucket. It's the cleanest process. It looks totally like filthy and totally like it's not going to end up to be anything. But the guy is just scraping, cleaning, putting back in his bucket, saving he's not throwing everything anywhere. He's a craftsman. And so we got the Lord there, sitting with his mortar. And he's saying that what he needs is bricks. What a brick is a brick is a little teeny tiny thing. And all it's got to be is strong. And so I just feel that the Lord is encouraging us. He's encouraging the small church. He's encouraging the poor church to just get stronger and to be part of whatever small thing you are. Do it with your whole heart and be happy to be a brick. And the capstone is going to be Jesus. And the cross on the wall, the Lord gets to put that up. That's all the Lord stuff. Let's just all make sure that we're some little tiny building material that he can use, that can fit into his wall. So that was one thing. The thing, all of you know, I've been harping on this, and I will be for another 20 or 30 years, because I'm a slow learner, and the Lord's teaching me how to walk. And let's all just let the Lord handle our walk. Let him teach us how to walk again. And let's be careful that we don't say, oh no, Lord, I do this part myself, and then we'll try it your way next, or something like that. But let's not do that. Let's let the Lord show us where to go, show us who to go with. show us why to go. And let's just be putty in his hands to go where he has us to go. So that whole learning how to walk, imagine our little John Mink over there at the end of the bus ride, at the end of the three-wheeler ride, at the end of the... And the Lord had me staying in this place that was it's called Casa Feliz. And this old woman has this old house from the 1800s. Beautiful old jungle Kipling Jungle Book house with the stairways going here and there, and the terrace over here, and the under part over by the garden, and the beautiful all the jungle plants and all that. That's where I was staying the whole time, and all the plumbing on the outside of the walls, as it should be, because then you know you're someplace. It was made before, and all the electrical is on the outside of the walls where it belongs, because it's pasted on after. And so, beautiful place where I was staying, and just me walking, just me following him, just me looking at this place going, I get to stay here, and sleeping in a bed with a mosquito net over that, and with him saying, okay, now make sure your mosquito net is tucked in. He showed me, he said, tuck it in every night just like this, because he saw a bug bite on me, and he goes, oh, you gotta make sure this is the only, keep your bug net over you. Let's see, what else?
John, you've got about 5 minutes.
Cool, perfect.
Well, or we need to be out of here in 5 minutes.
No.
No? Okay, all right. I just want to make sure.
Well, how long do I have? Okay, so you guys.
I want to make sure you don't get...
That's, okay, let's get to that. Last Sunday, I was sitting at Casa Feliz, winding down from something, and Emmanuel was talking, and he said, I've got to get over to this place. I've got to get my paperwork in right, or I'm not going to get the show boxes, and then the kids won't have any show boxes, and I've got to give out the show boxes. And he said, I don't even have my paperwork. I've got to go do that right now. And I was just sitting there doing something else, and he's just kind of blathering on about this show box. And I'm sitting here doing something. I go, you don't mean shoe box, do you? And he said, yeah, shoe box, show box. This group makes shoe boxes and puts them in a big box and then gives them to us, and then we give them to the kids. That happened just Monday, or Sunday or Monday, just last week, just at the end of this trip. And it's like that little extra, it was like the ice cream bar from Jesus, exactly. And I go, wait a second. Are you saying they put them in a box in the U.S. and send them over here, and there's a bunch of boxes inside the box? I said, yeah, the show box. I said, well, and he said, I've got to have 10 intercessors. I've got to have each child's name and their age, and I've got to have all this stuff to them, and where they go to church and where they live and all this stuff. He said, I've got to get all that together. And I was like, well, are we gonna give out the actual boxes? And he said, yeah, we give out the actual boxes. Look at the date, February 23rd. They're giving out the shoe boxes for Christmas. I didn't have any idea that would be part of this at all. I didn't have any inkling until he said that. And then it became the last thing that I went to at the church was this handing out of the show boxes. And so I got to see all those little kids wait in line and get their boxes, and then open their boxes and start playing with their stuff. And it's exactly what I want to tell you is that's a fake picture. This is a fake picture, but this is all real. Emmanuel is totally real, and the shoebox thing, the shoebox thing that we do, bless that. Let's do more. It's the kids get the gospel, and the parents get the gospel. And part of his thing was he had to have 10 intercessors praying for the whole thing up and down, and then he had to have documented presentation of the gospel to the parents and the kids as part of the thing. And so anyway,
That's so wonderful.
isn't that amazing, people?
Yeah.
Our little show boxes
Little bricks.
from right here.
Yeah. Little
Plus,
bricks.
and those kids have very little to nothing, but they're sweet, and they're kind, and they're respectful. And over at Casa Feliz, there was a graduation of high school kids, and there were these 4 girls that were kind of giggling and laughing when I walked through, and then when I came back, they were kind of giggling and laughing again. I said, "Do you guys need something?" And they said, "Could we get a picture with you?" And I said, "Sure, of course." So we got a picture, and then they said, "Could you pray for us because we're graduating?" And, you know, it's uncertain times for them. They weren't totally sure about what's going on. Wow. And so I got a chance to pray for those, for many young people and old people and in-betweens. And what a blessing, what a blessing. I'm going to continue to support our brother Emmanuel, and I'll give you little bits more. Yes?
What is the significance of the necklace?
That's very important, and that's part of this one. This was part of this Thanksgiving Day 2026, which is in February apparently. But this was just the speakers at that event got these things, and so I just kept mine and figured I'd wear it today, because I'm official. Is there any other questions?
When are we sending you again?
I came in this morning, I left the house, I saw this laying there, and I don't know how many of you guys travel outside of the U.S., but when you're outside of the U.S., every time you wake up, or every time you turn around, or every time you go to the bathroom, or get something to eat, or whatever, your first thought is, where's my passport? I haven't seen it for 5 minutes. And it's so important to you. It's going to be so fun to throw this in the drawer for a while. And not be traveling for a while, but I'll keep you posted.
Thank you, John.